Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming, and this is The Walking Dead Season 7 Negan Kill Leaked Death News. So first of all, I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in. The forums, discussions, debates all summer long have been fantastic. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the latest update to a very popular Negan death theory. Also, we're going to analyze Scott Gimple's comic universe. There's some bizarre Norman Reedus picks floating around. Fear, perhaps in decline as far as ratings, the Walking Dead gaming update, and then a brief history of Negan to hopefully enlighten a few people. I was enlightened when I read it. So we'll start out with San Diego Comic-Con. You can see Glenn is added to the mix here, and in this particular interview, both Andrew Lincoln and Norman Reedus prodded a little bit to Negan and said, "Who did you kill, if anyone?" Jeffrey Dean Morgan casually responded, "No one sitting here." Well, there goes at least a couple million Walking Dead fan theories, because most of the ones that I know at least have Glenn in them in some regard. I believe that to be false. In the comic book, we know that Glenn dies by Lucille. So we also make the assumption that Glenn dies in the TV show by Lucille. However, I think Abraham dies by Lucille, but Daryl sees it, interrupts, as weak as he is, and then as punishment, Negan or Dwight actually kill Glenn via knife. Now remember, Glenn made his first human kill with a knife. There were pictures on the wall, could have been foreshadowing. So Glenn will probably get the last death, so it's fresh in our minds. I know this is brain overload for everyone, but bear with me. This could be an alternate version of that. And Scott Gimple may actually have validated this alternate ending. So Scott Gimple went on record this week in Entertainment Weekly. The Walking Dead comic book, Glenn is the one who died at the hands of Negan, but according to Scott Gimple via interview with Entertainment Weekly, the show is not going to duplicate the comic book, but it will still remain in the same universe. It was all about expectations. People were like, oh well, here's what happens when Negan arrives on the scene, and the expectation was, oh, it'll be this way, and that's the way it should be. But it's also a question of trying to do things that fulfill the spirit of the story and the spirit of the comic without it being exactly the same. Glenn may actually be a victim of his own popularity. They have tried to kill him before, but this time I think they're going to be successful. Gimple went on to say, "I feel some of the Walking Dead comic book readers are like, oh, this is going to happen, and this is exactly what it is, and we want to give them a new experience. We want to give them an experience of suspense and fear because they don't know what's going to happen. What's actually happening on the show to characters, we want them to feel it. We want them to actually be surprised." So moving on, this is our WTF moment of the week. So Norman Reedus, if you stare at this light long enough, I think you'll see a picture of a naked blow-up panther and also a human head. So this is Norman Reedus' dressing room, and I have no idea what the panther is, but the human head, we know that is a replica that was used to fake the Saviors, make them think it was Gregory. It was actually molded after the face of Johnny Depp. As Cinema Blend reported, that particular zombie head appears to be from last season's 12th episode, Not Tomorrow Yet. When planning their attack on the Savior's compound, Rick and company tried to find a freshly dead walker that looked like the Hilltops leader Gregory. After finding a few bearded zombies, they decided on one resembling what you can now see comfortably sitting in Norman Reedus' trailer. The final touches to the trick were breaking the head's nose. So this is actually a site which Johnny Depp character you, and we know Gregory falls in one of those, so take your pick. Fear the Walking Dead, recently reported by Forbes magazine. Not so good news here. Fear the Walking Dead returned to the air after a mid-season break 2 weeks ago, but it's looking like some people haven't noticed or simply don't care. The show continues its ratings nosedive, a stark contrast from the sky-high numbers of its originator, The Walking Dead. It goes on to say, Fear the Walking Dead was still drawing at least 6.5 million viewers. In the first half of Season 2, that dropped to 4.3 to 4.8 million, but now it's down to 3.8 to 3.6 million. Forbes goes on to give its top 5 reasons why Fear the Walking Dead is bad. Number 1, it has no real ties to the original show. Number 2, it's extremely unclear who the lead is. Number 3, there are no memorable villains. 4, there's no source material to indicate that it will ever get better. And number 5, it's too many zombies in 1 year. So leave your comments below. Let me know if you agree with Forbes' assessment of this, and let me know if there's anything that you would add onto the list. So if you agree or disagree. So I'm actually going to give you reason number 6 why I think Fear the Walking Dead is bad. Is Nick looks too much like Edward Scissorhands. This is from the Spoiling Dead's fan page site. So this week's information today, most filming took place at the studio. We assume it was the junkyard again. The only confirmed character filming today is Rick. However, we assume Michonne, Tara, Rosita, Aaron, and maybe Father G were also there. There was also filming on Carver Road in Griffin. Only stuntmen. So pretty light news, probably the Labor Day holiday, but we'll stay tuned, and as more information becomes available, we'll definitely post it. Melissa McBride made news this week in a recent interview where she went on to say, Oh, I heard it. I've heard it all. But you know it's entertaining. It's compelling, and some people like cliffhangers. Some people hate them, and that's just part of the experience. But I hope those people that feel jilted will tune in because the premiere is just going to be, oh God, it's going to rock the walls. The wait is worth it. So she is towing the company line. Let's get into a history of Negan. And I was definitely enlightened when I read this. So this is by moviepilot.com. So far in the series, we've learned that prior to the apocalypse, Negan was a school coach or perhaps a gym teacher. He was also married, and his wife was diagnosed with cancer sometime before the outbreak. Negan was unfaithful to his wife, though in the end chose her over his mistress and cared for her tenderly through her last moments in the hospital. Shortly before his wife died, the hospital was being evacuated because of the outbreak. Though Negan refused to leave his wife's side, it was revealed at the end of the most recent issue of Here's Negan that his wife's name was Lucille, which is the inspiration of his weapon. And there we have a picture of Lucille, at least a mock-up. And it reminded me, there's a song by Kenny Rogers called You Picked a Fine Time to Leave Me Lucille, and maybe that was the inspiration for Negan's beard. Just a little bit of trivia for you guys. Let's move on to gaming news. So this week it was unveiled that The Walking Dead Season 3 Telltale will come out sometime in November. Just want to let all of you know, my gaming fans, also the Walking Dead fans, I will be streaming this. If you guys don't know what it's all about and just watch the TV show, definitely check it out. Here's a review from Slash Gear. As mentioned, Clementine will once again be the main protagonist, but while The Walking Dead Seasons 1 and 2 were for the most part set back to back, A New Frontier will start off with 4 years having passed. So Clem is going to be a teenager, but players will also be taking control of a brand new character, Javier. What I want to know is, where is Kenny? I saved Kenny at the end of Telltale Season 2, and hopefully he makes at least some cameo appearance. So thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate all the insight, all the feedback. Whether you're gaming fans, television fans, comic book fans, I look forward to having discussions with you. And the forums, the debates, the discussions have been very rewarding, very entertaining. My name is Killshot, and leave your comments below. Thanks again. Peace.